Chapter 1004. The demons are here. The battle had yet to begin, but a horrifying aura had already filled the air. Everyone knew that this battle was unavoidable. For the safety of their families, for the independence of Elysium, and for their descendants to not be enslaved, they could only fight. If they did, they would become sinners. In their ears, they seemed to hear the screams of their descendants. This made their hearts tighten, and their eyes turn red. Fight to the death. It was unknown who was the first to yell. Fight to the death. Fight to the death. Roars of anger rang out one after another until everyone was yelling in unison. The roar of millions of high-level warriors tore apart the astonishing sky, the extreme void, and even the zenith sky started to shake. For a moment, silver lightning streaked across the sky. Hurricanes, snow, burning clouds, torrential rain. All sorts of phenomena appeared in the sky of the endless ocean. It was as if even the heavens were angry. The horrifying aura did not scare off the demon army. The huge black battleships continued to advance at a constant speed, eventually stopping at the edge of the endless ocean. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The cabin doors opened, and figures flew out one after another. Among these figures, the shortest one was close to 3 meters tall, and some were more than 5 meters tall. There were even some that were more than 100 meters tall. They were not ordinary demons, but demon kings who had stepped into the life and death realm. As for their numbers, they were close to 1,000. Nearly 1,000 demon kings appeared in front of the battleships, led by 3 demons with the most powerful aura. Suddenly, a huge rhombus-shaped crystal was thrown down, creating a crater on the ground. It was a black rhombus-shaped crystal that was as big as a small island. Both sides of the crystal were wrapped in bronze metal, and the surface of the metal was engraved with countless patterns. Each time it flickered, a huge amount of demonic power would be released. After being diluted, the demonic power would turn into dense demonic chi. Almost in the blink of an eye, the surrounding 100 li had been corroded by the demonic chi. Although one could still see, it had become dark and gloomy, and even sunlight could not shine in. It was like an extremely gloomy sky that was rarely seen in 100 years. However, it was even more gloomy than a gloomy sky. Apart from demonic chi, no other natural yuan chi could exist inside. This is? Yi Chen, Murong Qingqing, and the Demon Flower Emperor narrowed their eyes. This black rhombus-shaped crystal was obviously something from the depths of the Chaos Demon Sea. They didn't expect that the other party would actually bring it over. This was turning the ocean gazing into their home field. It's really dangerous this time. The Demon Flower Emperor said word by word. Regardless of whether we have it or not, this war will be extremely dangerous. It can be said that there is only a slim chance of survival. We can only fight to the death. Taking a deep breath, Yichen calmed down. The others also noticed the black diamond-shaped crystal and the strange phenomenon caused by the crystal. They had a bad feeling in their hearts. They didn't think that the demons would do anything that wasn't good for them. Judging from the effect of the black diamond-shaped crystal, this thing would definitely allow the demons to recover their magic power faster, and they wouldn't run out of magic power. Of course, even though they had a bad premonition in their hearts, no one retreated. Before they came, they were already prepared to die. The appearance of the black rhombus-shaped crystal not only made them feel bitter in their hearts, but it also aroused their unyielding fighting spirit. It's really interesting. I actually don't feel the slightest bit of fear. The Lord of Fear was very sensitive to the fear in people's hearts. However, what surprised him was that these people didn't show any fear, as if they already had nothing to fear. This is just on the surface. When we display our overwhelming strength, they will know what fear is. The cursed demon emperor chuckled and looked around. Soon his eyes lit up. There were actually so many beauties with extraordinary temperaments among the true spirit kings. Not to mention the human demon with the dark witch's bloodline, there was also the white-clothed Xianhou and the demon flower emperor with the flower demon's bloodline. There were also many others that he hadn't heard of. For example, standing next to the white-haired young man was a woman in a white gown with an ethereal temperament. Standing next to Xianhou was a green-clothed woman who was as noble as a phoenix, and there was also a blue-clothed woman standing next to the black-clothed middle-aged man. All of them were stunning beauties, and they weren't inferior to his previous confidants. In fact, they might even be superior. It wasn't in vain that I was sealed for tens of thousands of years. They really treated me well. The cursed demon emperor licked his lips and had a ferocious look on his face. Standing at the front of the crowd, Yichen focused his gaze on the troll emperor and said, "The demons have been spying on Elysium for many years. War after war, they haven't been able to defeat Elysium. This time will be no exception. If your excellency doesn't wish for the demons to suffer heavy casualties, I advise you to leave Elysium now. Otherwise, we won't rest until one of us is dead." This sentence was superfluous, but Yichen had to say it. First, it was to show the other party the determination of Elysium. Second, it was to tell the other party that even if they wanted to conquer Elysium, they would have to pay a heavy price. Won't rest until one of us is dead? Hee hee. Indeed, after this war, the demons will definitely suffer losses. However, I believe that compared to obtaining the whole of Elysium, paying a small price is worth it. After all, there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. The troll emperor smiled and changed his tone. With an oppressive tone, he said, "This time, we, the demons, have mobilized 1,000 demon kings and 2 million demon army. If you think that you can make us hesitate with just a few words, then you are gravely mistaken. If you don't want to die without a complete corpse and ignite the whole of Elysium in the flames of war, surrender. Those who surrender will not be killed. Those who surrender will not be killed." The last sentence, the troll emperor roared out with his thick demonic energy. His majestic voice was like a tsunami, blowing away the lightning, hurricanes, snow, and fire clouds in the sky, as well as the torrential rain. The sky cleared up. Intense demonic energy surged over, gloomy and murderous. In Elysium, there are only kings who die in battle. There are no kings who surrender. The two elders, Void Ancestor and Jailer, took a step forward and roared together. Rumble. Merely the sound of the collision was enough to create an apocalyptic scene between the two armies. The space was like a spider web, cracking open one after another. "Very well, then all of you will die." The cursed demon emperor chuckled strangely. His laughter was like a demonic sound, penetrating through every nook and cranny. Behind the numerous demons, a black flood surged out from the puppet battleships. This was the army of demons. The lowest cultivation base was mid-astral reaching realm, and there was not a single early astral reaching realm. In other words, if not for the suppression of Elysium's rules, the lowest cultivation base of these people would be late astral reaching realm. It should be known that some of the Elysium martial artists who had come to the ocean gazing had just stepped into the astral reaching realm. As for why they didn't directly attack with the puppet battleships, it was mainly because the puppet battleship's main purpose was not to fight, but to transport. Although each puppet battleship could actually fight against several ordinary life and death kings, there were so many kings present. As long as a powerful titled monarch made a few moves, they would be able to destroy a large number of puppet battleships. This kind of loss was not something the demons wanted to bear. In any case, with their current strength, they were already able to suppress Elysium. There was really no need for them to waste the astonishingly valuable puppet battleships. Raising his right arm high, the troll emperor fiercely swung down, "Kill!" Clang. At the same time, Yichen had already pulled out the demon-slaughtering sword. The crimson sword flickered with a blood light that could make one's heart palpitate. It dyed the sky blood red, and the demonic chi was annihilated. Pointing the demon-slaughtering sword forward, Yichen also roared, "Fight!" Bang! The sky shattered, and the kings of both sides rushed out like two black clouds colliding. The aura was so frightening that it couldn't be described with words. It was like the scene of Doomsday. No! Before the two sides even reached each other, the cursed demon emperor's eyes widened, and he fell from the sky with lifeless eyes. His life aura was completely gone, and he died instantly. Damn it! The troll emperor's eyes were filled with extreme anger. The two sides had unexpectedly joined hands to use a soul attack, instantly annihilating the soul of the cursed demon emperor. Success! Yichen heaved a sigh of relief. The cursed demon emperor was an expert in curses, and even his magic was cursed magic, which was a great threat. Therefore, before this, Yi Chen had already discussed with everyone, and let those who knew how to use soul attacks to attack together, annihilate the cursed demon emperor's soul. Although not all the kings of Elysium had practiced soul attack secret techniques, among the 500 people, there were still dozens of them. If dozens of people joined hands to attack, not to mention the cursed demon emperor, even Yi Chen would die without a doubt. This was the terror and ruthlessness of war. Being strong could not guarantee one's own safety, and it would only make one's life easier. Of course, soul attacks consumed a lot of soul power. They could still use it once, but if they used it again, everyone's condition would decline. Only Yi Chen, who had a strong soul power, could use it multiple times. Therefore, killing the cursed demon emperor had to be done in one go. As soon as the cursed demon emperor died, the troll emperor and the lord of fear emitted an astonishing murderous intent. Demons were not good at studying the soul, so among them, only 1 in 10,000 knew how to use soul attacks. However, demons were born with strong soul defense, and in a one-on-one situation, it was impossible to annihilate their souls. They did not expect that the other side would target the cursed demon emperor, and conversely, if the other side targeted them, they would definitely die. The duration of a soul attack was extremely short, and there was no time to use it a second time. As soon as the cursed demon emperor died, the two sides collided. What kind of scene was this? In just the first collision, dozens of people turned into blood mist, dying miserably on the spot. Among them were demons and Elysiums. Demons did not even lose 10 people, while Elysium lost more than 20 people. These 20 people were not ordinary martial artists, but genuine life and death kings. Normally, they could call the wind and summon the rain, enjoying great glory. But now, they were being harvested like rice straws. The cruelty of war appeared in everyone's mind for the first time. Chapter 1005. Swish, swish. Blood-colored sword light crisscrossed as Yi Chen, who was using derailment steps, shuttled through the crowd of demon kings like a ghost. With each step, a blood-colored sword light blossomed. The weaker demon kings were directly slashed into a blood mist, dying on the spot. The stronger demon kings were also cleaved into two, their cultivation base greatly damaged. Apart from Yi Chen, Void Ancestor, Prison Ancestor, Mysterious Queen, and Murong Qingqing had also killed a lot of demon kings. Void Ancestor's Void Palm was several times more powerful than Void Emperor's. With a slap, a demon king in front of him immediately turned into ashes, leaving not a trace behind. Prison Ancestor's punishment martial skill was strange and tyrannical. With a swipe of his hand, the demon king charging at him could only let out a miserable shriek before being cut into pieces. As for Mysterious Queen, her snow-filling universe had already reached perfection. Extreme freezing chi erupted, freezing dozens of meters tall demon kings into ice sculptures. As her figure passed through, the ice sculptures shattered into millions of pieces, creating an icy rain. Murong Qingqing, this rising star of the younger generation, wasn't much inferior to them. The demonic wings on her back provided her with a frightening mobility. Her figure flickered. One moment she was still here, and the next she was already in another place. The demon king fighting her didn't even know who the opponent was before his body exploded and he died. However, although there were many powerful kings on Elysium's side, there were even more powerful kings on the side of the demons. Not to mention the two demon emperors, the troll emperor and the lord of fear, there were more than 10 other demon kings comparable to heavenly evil demons. Just like the former two, they had been sealed in Elysium for a long time. Their true cultivation base was at the 6th layer of life and death realm. After being suppressed by 2 layers, they were at the 4th layer, which was equivalent to the 6-star battle strength of Elysium. Like a bulldozer, the 2 demon emperors and dozens of heavenly evil demon kings charged forward like a hot knife through butter. Wherever they went, the kings of Elysium were turned into blood mists, leaving not even their bones behind. Kill! The red-haired Chu Zhongtian seemed to have gone berserk. He didn't dodge or evade, and instead exchanged punches with the 2 demon kings in front of him. It was a battle of life for life. Eventually, relying on his unusual protective astral yuan and evil spirit body, he blew up the two demon kings. As for himself, half of his head had caved in, and a large chunk of flesh had been torn out of his chest. Duguju's situation was even worse than Chu Zhongtian's. His opponents were three demon kings, and one of them was not much weaker than him. Fighting one against three, Duguju was pushed back again and again. The wounds on his body kept increasing, and his undying body didn't even have enough time to recover. "Ha! Duguju, don't you die so early." A long spear suddenly stabbed out, nailing into a demon king's head. It was Bai Minghui. Although he was laughing, tears were streaming down his face. Just a second ago, his grandfather had been torn into pieces by two demon kings in order to save him. Before he died, he had even dragged another demon king down with him. Bai Minghui's anger had made him explode continuously. After killing the last demon king, he saw that Duguju was in danger, so he didn't care that he only had half of his body left. He rushed over and stabbed his spear through his opponent's head. Boom! With only half of his body left, he was simply too weak, and was turned into a blood mist by a demon king who was passing by. "You have to live. Kill these sons of bitches." Bai Minghui's voice disappeared. "Ah!" Duguju roared into the sky as blue veins popped out on his forehead like small snakes. The white hair on his head started to dance in the air as well. The anger and the extreme madness had pushed him to explode with even more potential. He combined with his blade and drilled into a demon king's chest before coming out from the back. Blood splashed everywhere. "My life no longer belongs to me anymore." The pain on Duguju's face was hidden deep down, and all that was left was killing. The battle taking place in the sky left everyone on the ground in shock and grief. Too many of them had died. They had been the most respected existences in Elysium, the kings of men and the kings of demons. For Elysium, for their children and grandchildren, they had no complaints, and they had never retreated. Even if they died, they would drag their opponents down with them. The demon army surged forward like a tidal wave, boundless like a swarm of locusts. If 1,000 demon army and 500 Elysium kings were like two dark clouds colliding, then the charge of 2 million demon army and 1 million Elysium army was like two oceans colliding. The ground was shaking, the wind was howling, and lightning was flying everywhere. It was a scene of doomsday. Kill! The two sides quickly approached each other, and the army at the very front had already started fighting across the sky. The whistling force was like 10,000 arrows being shot at the same time, and it was also like a storm was approaching. Bang 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 bang, chi explosion sounds resounded in the sky as countless black dots fell down. Each black dot represented the loss of a life. At this moment, human lives were like grass. Finally, the two armies collided. Blood flowed like a river, and blood surged into the sky. Die! A huge lizard shadow appeared behind Tuabaku's back. It waved its tail, and a couple of demons were blown away. With a swipe of its claw, another couple of demons were dismembered. There were a lot of strangers fighting alongside him, but there were also a lot of people he was familiar with, such as the geniuses from the Hidden Dragon rank, and the friends he had made over the years. Each of them had forgotten everything, and only had the demons in their eyes. Besides the human race, the demi-demon race, the demi-beast race, and the demi-beast race had also joined the battle. They could all transform into human form, which was the benefit of the Blood Sky Land's shape-shifting pellet. The pellet not only allowed them to transform into human form, but also gave them intelligence that was not inferior to humans, which made them willing to fight for the Elysium. Unfortunately, they were only a small part of the demi-beast race. There were even more demi-beasts scattered around the world. Apart from some of them with extremely high potential, most of them did not have enough intelligence. They only fought for their own territories and did not know what the Elysium was, or what it meant when the nest was overturned, there would be no eggs left intact. Ha, too weak, too weak. Even if we are being suppressed by the Elysium, one of us can still fight against 10 of them. A demon with demonic bloodline grabbed a human astral-reaching realm warrior and bit him hard. Bastard! A couple of astral-reaching realm warriors with red eyes rushed up, wanting to avenge their comrades. Overestimating yourselves. The demon threw out the dead body of the astral-reaching realm warrior. Boom! The body exploded in the air, turning into countless blood arrows. A couple of astral-reaching realm warriors who had rushed up were pierced by the blood arrows, dying on the spot. All of a sudden, a beam of sword light pierced through the demon's forehead. It was Lung Xinghan who had attacked. His eyes were extremely cold. After killing the demon, he did not even look at it, as he went to look for another opponent. Xiao Xiao, don't be afraid. They are all bastards. What is there to be afraid of? After killing a demon, Yi Xian turned his head and said to Yi Xiao Xiao, who had a pale face. Second brother, be careful. Just as Yi Xian turned around, a demon charged over, a huge axe attacking toward his head. Seeing that the axe was about to fall, Yi Xiao Xiao suddenly stomped on the ground with her feet, turning into a beam of light and shooting out. Ding! The axe was blown away, and Yi Xiao Xiao flew back with blood dripping from the corner of her mouth. Yi Xian, who had just reacted, shook his wrist, and countless sword flowers covered the opponent. The next second, this sneak-attacking demon fell down with blood all over his body. Good job! Yi Xian gave Yi Xiao Xiao a thumbs up, feeling a lingering fear. The battle had only been going on for a while, but Elysium had already lost nearly 100 life and death kings. The losses of the demons were also unexpectedly high, reaching more than 60. Many of them had been killed by the kings of Elysium. Yi Chen alone had killed more than a dozen demon kings. In such a chaotic scene, being powerful didn't mean that one could kill a lot of enemies. After all, as one attacked an enemy, there would be even more enemies attacking one. If not for Yi Chen's extremely powerful soul power, which allowed him to multitask, and if not for his quick reaction, which allowed him to dodge in time, he would have been injured by now. As time passed, the number of casualties started to decrease. The main reason was that the situation was not that chaotic anymore. Everyone was far away from each other, so they would not get involved. With a glance, Yi Chen noticed the Troll Emperor. His opponent was actually Murong Qingqing. With the demon wings, although Murong Qingqing would not be captured immediately, she would still be in danger. Leave him to me. His body shifting in the void, Yi Chen appeared in front of Murong Qingqing and said, All right. Murong Qingqing also did not hesitate. With a flap of the demon wings, she instantly disappeared from her spot. Courting death. Just as he was about to capture Murong Qingqing, Yi Chen ruined his plan. The Troll Emperor roared. His fist seemed like it had been compressed by 10 huge mountains. With one punch, everything in the world flowed in reverse. Even the spatial power could not bear this fist aura. Countless spatial fragments shot toward Yi Chen like multicolored streamers. Yi Chen shuttled through the multicolored streamers like a hot knife through butter. These streamers were shattered by a layer of golden light when they were just a meter away from Yi Chen. The golden light was emitting from the demon-slaughtering sword in Yi Chen's hand. Unknowingly, the sword had enlarged by several times, turning into a huge golden sword. The huge golden sword was unstoppable. Just the sword aura alone was enough to form a frightening golden light. Boom! The fist and the huge golden sword collided, and a huge black hole appeared between the two. The power spread to the depths of the void, like a volcanic eruption. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Yi Chen was sent flying. As expected, he has 7-star combat power. Yi Chen instantly judged his opponent's combat power. He actually managed to block it? Although the Troll Emperor did not spit out blood, he still took dozens of steps back. His fist felt numb. Yi Chen's sword had a strong vibrational power, making his right arm feel a little weak. His eyes were extremely sharp. Yi Chen knew that his opponent this time was not the same as before. If he did not use all his strength, it was very likely that he would die. It should be known that the sword just now was not an ordinary sword technique, but the third style of the vibrational sword art, the Sky Absolute Sword. Previously, the Sky Absolute Sword had only been integrated with the Profound of Earth. Now, it had been perfectly integrated, becoming a top profound sword technique. Chapter 1006. Very good. I finally found an opponent who can barely fight me. Killing those ants is too boring. In a short period of time, the Troll Emperor had killed 15 kings of Elysium. If not for Murong Qingqing attracting his attention, this number would have been much higher. To him, those who couldn't block one of his punches were ants. Although killing ants was easy, killing too many of them wouldn't satisfy him. If he wanted to kill a peerless figure like Yi Chen. Killing one Yi Chen was more useful than killing 10 or 20 ordinary kings. He might even be able to destroy the faith of the people of Elysium. Killing ants like demons is also very boring. After killing you, this war should end faster. Yi Chen's thoughts were the same as the Troll Emperor's. In a battlefield, the role of a general was extremely important. Not only was he the commander, but he was also the spiritual pillar of the soldiers. If the general died, the morale would definitely be greatly affected. Kill me? What a joke! I want to see how you will kill me. The Troll Emperor laughed loudly. His undying body was at the blood rebirth realm, and his magical power was boundless. Even if an ordinary person killed him 10 times, he would be able to recover again. Although his current strength hadn't recovered to the peak of the past and was only at the early stage of 7-star, even a middle stage 7-star wouldn't be able to kill him. In fact, they would be tortured to death by him. Take my troll-killing fist. While his laughter was still echoing, the Troll Emperor had already charged over and punched. The pitch-black fist filled the sky and rapidly enlarged in Yi Chen's eyes. I haven't figured out his strength yet. It's better not to use Instant of Glory for now. Instant of Glory was Yi Chen's greatest trump card. In the past 2 years, Yi Chen had made great progress in Instant of Glory. However, if he revealed his trump card in advance, it would only make his opponent vigilant. Either he didn't use Instant of Glory, or once he used it, he had to obtain sufficient results. After all, with his opponent's strength, Instant of Glory wouldn't be able to kill him instantly. His body lightly leaped up, and the demon slaughtering sword in his hand slashed from bottom to top, left to right. This slash was like a dream. As the sword edge streaked across the sky, the space rippled like water. At the same time, the tip of the demon slaughtering sword suddenly lit up, creating a golden water ripple in the void. The water rippled and welcomed the pitch-black fist. The fourth move of the Autumn Water Sword technique, Autumn Water. Rumble. The power of the Troll Emperor's fist was unstoppable, but this water-like sword chi was not only flexible and condensed, but it was also indestructible. It gathered the essence of the metal and water attributes and effectively fused them together. On the pitch-black fist, countless golden splashes exploded, and each splash was not inferior to a cut of sword chi. While Yi Chen and the Troll Emperor were fighting, the others had also found their opponents. The Void Ancestor's opponent was another Demon Emperor-level character, the Lord of Fear. Although the Lord of Fear's strength was not as good as the Troll Emperor, he still had the battle power of a 6-star overlord. The Void Ancestor fought with him for dozens of rounds, and was immediately beaten to the point of vomiting blood and being battered. Invincible Void Battle Technique. With a low roar, the aura of the Void Ancestor skyrocketed, as if he had eaten a great tonic. Secret Battle Technique? The Lord of Fear didn't think much of it. The opponent's strength was much lower than his. Even if he used a secret battle technique, it would be no more than a cornered beast struggle. Unless the opponent used a peak-level secret battle technique, only then could it pose a threat to the Lord of Fear. Clearly, peak-level secret battle techniques were not cabbages. Moreover, they were extremely difficult to cultivate. Out of 100 people, there might not even be one who could successfully cultivate it. As a 6-star king at the same level as the Void Ancestor, Jailer was fighting 2 4th-layer life and death realm demon kings, which were 6-star devils. It was not that he was being arrogant, but that he had no other choice. If he didn't hold up one more kings of Elysium would die. At that time, the gap in numbers would grow larger and larger, and he would no longer be facing 1 or 2 enemies, but 3, 5, or even 10. In fact, he wasn't the only one doing this. The others were doing the same. For example, Murong Qingqing, relying on the flexibility of her demon wings, was holding up 3 6-star devils by herself, while Shenhe was holding up 2. Su Qing's strength was barely at the 6-star level, but he was also holding up a 6-star devil that was stronger than him. Even with his 6th-step spirit body, he was still being beaten miserably and could only rely on the space profound to continuously evade and counterattack. Even so, the 4 of them were only holding up 8 6-star devils. There were still a few that were still wantonly slaughtering. Nobody could stop them. Space Realm. At the crucial moment, the Air Emperor stood up and used his space profound to trap a 6-star devil. His battle strength was not much weaker than Su King's, so he could hold on for a while. But if the battle dragged on, he would die without a doubt. This was all thanks to his research on Space Profound, which focused on sealing and trapping. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to hold on for a while. I, Chu Zhongtian, will fight you. Seeing the number of life and death kings on his side decreasing rapidly, Chu Zhongtian roared and charged at a 6-star devil by himself. Courting death. This 6-star devil was an old demon with pitch-black scales all over his body. He had seen Chu Zhongtian's previous battle and knew that he was several times weaker than him. Rip. A right claw flickering with a cold light suddenly waved out. The old demons instantly broke through Chu Zhongtian's protective astral yuan and left a deep claw mark on his body. To it, a few ribs appeared in the old demon's hand, which belonged to Chu Zhongtian. Chu Zhongtian spurted out a huge amount of blood, along with pieces of his internal organs. The old demon's body art was extremely fast. Like a ghost, he flickered around Chu Zhongtian's surroundings. Chu Zhongtian's attacks were all dodged by him. All of a sudden, a puff sound was heard as Chu Zhongtian's chest was pierced through. The old demon's 2-meter-long right arm pierced through Chu Zhongtian's back, holding a heart. If we die, let's die together. Chu Zhongtian tightly locked onto the old demon's arm as a dark red crystal light erupted from his body. It was a sign of self-detonation. It was unknown where he had learned this self-detonation secret art from. You die, but I won't die. The old demon's right arm suddenly shook, and countless bloody holes appeared on Chu Zhongtian's body. Blood splashed out, and the dark red crystal light flickered before disappearing. As for Chu Zhongtian's body, his flesh had been destroyed to the point that he couldn't even self-detonate. His Zhen Yuan was in chaos. Swish. At this moment, a sharp sword pierced through the old demon's chest. The next moment, the old demon's exploded into a blood mist, and half of it was minced into nothingness. Looking at where the sword had come from, the source was actually Yi Chen. Yi Chen's direct opponent seemed to be the Troll Emperor alone, but in fact, he had been multitasking. While fighting with the Troll Emperor, he had been using the defensive sword art to attack the nearby demon kings. That sword just now was not the Earth Fiend sword art, but the 9 return to 1 sword art, which was even more exquisite than the Earth Fiend sword art. The 9 return to 1 sword art required the defensive sword art to reach the level of 81 swords at the same time, and the power of the 81 swords was concentrated on 1 sword. Although the Earth Fiend sword art could also reach this level after absorbing enough Earth Essence Evil Chi, it still needed time to accumulate. The 9 return to 1 sword art did not have this weakness. Of course, the main reason why the old demons could be heavily injured with 1 sword was because Chu Zhongtian had locked onto him in an instant. Otherwise, the old demons could have blocked a little, and his body would not have exploded. Leave the 6-star devil to me. Don't die so soon. Yi Chen's voice came from the flying sword. Thank you. The injuries on Chu Zhongtian's body had already healed. After swallowing a pill, he immediately flashed away from the place. Damn it. The blood mist gathered again as the old demon man opened his mouth and roared. This sword attack contained an extremely powerful destruction sword intent. He could feel that every bit of his flesh and blood was being destroyed by the destruction sword intent. Right now, his power had dropped by more than 30%, and half of his energy was used to expel the destruction sword intent. The sharp sword turned around and attacked the old demons again. Pung pung pung. The old demons, who had lost a lot of strength, was being attacked by the sharp sword. He dodged everywhere, but the sword marks on his body were still increasing, making him look like a bloody man. You dare to split your attention in front of me? The Troll Emperor's attacks were getting fiercer and fiercer. Any of his punches could kill a normal 6-star king. All of a sudden, the fist shadows were like mountains, whistling towards Yichen. Moment of glory. Yichen did not dare to be hit by so many fist shadows. With the opponent's strength, he could easily injure him in an instant. With the demon-slaying sword in hand, Yichen flew up and rushed towards the opponent. The next second, the tip of the demon-slaying sword shone with a bright light. This light was like the moment when a star exploded, and everything was forcefully frozen. The Troll Emperor only had time to say one sentence before he could not move anymore. Right now, the moment of glory was not the same as before. Its range had reached hundreds of meters, and everything within that range was frozen. Even the fierce fist shadows were frozen in the air. The demon-slaying sword touched the center of the Troll Emperor's eyebrows, and after a slight resistance, it pierced through. Boom, a strong light exploded, and the Troll Emperor's head exploded into pieces. However, what made Yichen's heart heavy was that this sword had only destroyed the Troll Emperor's head, and it did not affect other parts of his body. This meant that the opponent's magic power and physical strength had reached an unimaginable level. The Troll Emperor woke up a moment earlier than Yichen had expected. Although he did not have a head, his voice still came out, and his fist landed on Yichen's chest. His body shattered, and Yichen's entire body turned into a bloody mist that spread out in a fan shape. Yichen! Murong Qingqing screamed. Yichen had not reached the realm of blood rebirth, and being turned into a bloody mist with one punch meant that he would definitely die. As if she had gone crazy, Murong Qingqing rushed in that direction, but in that moment of distraction, the 3 6-star devil that she had entangled with attacked her body together. In the distance, Xuanho's face was pale, without a trace of blood. Yichen and Murong Qingqing were facing a disaster at the same time. Was Elysium really going to fall? Chapter 1007. Yichen is dead? It was not only Xianhou who had noticed this scene. Besides Xianhou, the other life and death realm warriors who were battling with the demons seemed to have sensed something as well, looking over from afar. Although they were very far away, and logically speaking, the commotion here should not have caught their attention. But they still looked over. Using their soul power, they saw the Troll Emperor and the blood mist in front of the Troll Emperor. He is dead. What should we do? He is a peerless martial genius, a legend of this era. How can he die? Everyone was screaming in their minds. They were not afraid of sacrificing themselves, and they were not afraid of death. At the critical moment, they could die together with the demons. But they were afraid of not seeing hope, of not seeing the dawn of victory. Big brother! Yi Tianhao, Shen Yuqing, and Yi Xian and Yi Xiaoxiao, who were battling, felt a pain in their hearts. It was as if they had lost something, as if the most important thing was leaving them. All of a sudden, a roar resounded through the sky. Yichen, I know you are not dead yet, and no one can kill you. Even if you are dead, you better come back to life. Otherwise, how can you step on my Duguju's head? You are a person destined to be glorious. Duguju's eyes shone with a horrifying light, and blue veins popped out on his face. With each blade attack, he would roar out. Each blade attack was heavier and fiercer than the previous one. His opponents, the 2 demons, were shocked. Duguju had reached his limit and broken it at the same time. They could barely handle the first blade attack, but the second one, they had no choice but to back out. The third one, their bodies started to be dyed with blood. It seemed like something had happened that had made him extremely angry. Am I dead? Is this all I can do? The murmuring voice reverberated in the surreal space. At first, it was very weak, like the sound of wind. The Troll Emperor's pupils shrank. Using his soul power to sense, he was sure that every inch of Yichen's flesh and blood had been smashed by him, turning into a thin blood mist. Even that indestructible armor didn't have a single bit of flesh and blood, only blood. So where did this sound come from? I'm not dead yet. Even if I die, I will crawl out of hell and return to the human world. Immortal sword intent, rebuild my body. The weak voice became extremely powerful. In the end, it resonated with space. An undying and inextinguishable radiance blossomed, pervading the bloody mist. What? The blood mist gathered again, and a figure condensed. Great. Murong Qingqing didn't die either. The 3 6-star demons' combined attacks seemed to be powerful, but in fact, they only used 30 to 40% of their power. The Troll Emperor had told them before that they could only injure Murong Qingqing, but not kill her. Right now, seeing Yi Chen's figure appear, Murong Qingqing smiled and cried. Not dead? Great. But this doesn't seem to be the blood rebirth state. Yi Chen's resurrection made Xianhou feel relieved. But at the same time, she was confused. Although the method that Yi Chen used to condense his body was similar to the blood rebirth state, in her eyes, it was completely different. The blood rebirth state required the will of the blood to pull each other and quickly reassemble according to memory. Although there was will in Yi Chen's blood, it was not to the point of pulling each other. The reason why he could condense his body was because Yi Chen used his powerful immortal sword intent to force all the blood together. After all, these blood were all Yi Chen's. Once they were gathered together, they immediately sensed each other and automatically rearranged themselves. However, this was Yi Chen. Ordinary people who hadn't reached the blood rebirth state would not be able to be reborn even if someone helped them to condense their blood. Because their core will had already dissipated, and the fragmented will was not strong enough. I knew you wouldn't die. Only like this is you. Dugu Ju laughed loudly, his white hair fluttering in the wind. I have to say, you just completed a miracle. Although I have heard of such things, I have never seen it. You have broadened my horizons. The Troll Emperor recovered from the shock and said coldly. Hell didn't accept me, so I had to come back. I have to thank you for that punch. I seem to have gained some understanding of the blood rebirth state. Reaching the blood rebirth state was not something that could be done in a day. No matter how talented one was, it was impossible to reach it in a few years. Although Yi Chen was at the peak of the flesh derivation state before, it would take him at least 2 or 3 years to successfully break through. Now, he had a feeling that every cell in his body had condensed enough will. Although these will were not as strong as the core will, they were still at the 3rd or 4th level. Don't thank me so early. You will still die soon. The dead don't need to thank the living. The Troll Emperor didn't think that the resurrected Yi Chen could do anything. If he could kill Yi Chen once, he could do it again. As for the Troll Emperor, it wouldn't matter even if he was killed 10 times. Is that so? Then let's wait and see. As he spoke, Yi Chen sent a voice transmission to Murong Qingqing. It seems that you don't have enough confidence in me. Fight with all your heart. Don't worry about me. Even if I die 10 times, I won't die so easily. Got it. Murong Qingqing was in a very good mood. The moment Yi Chen died, she felt like she had died too. Now that Yi Chen came back to life, every inch of her body was cheering and excited. A new power rose in her body, and the previous heavy injuries disappeared. Not good. She has completely activated the Dark Witch bloodline. The 3 6-star devils opposite Murong Qingqing smiled bitterly. The Dark Witch bloodline was an extremely noble bloodline among the demons. Once this bloodline was activated, the power it produced was unparalleled. Although this power couldn't be transformed into actual strength for a while, it would accompany her for the rest of her life. Moreover, it would produce an inexplicable pressure on the demons whose bloodline was lower than hers. Fortunately, the other party didn't just have the Dark Witch bloodline. There was also the human bloodline. If it was the real Dark Witch, they probably wouldn't have the courage to attack her. Let's start again. Yi Chen's eyes were as clear as the sky. This was the kind of eyes that understood life and death. Annoying eyes. The Troll Emperor shouted in a low voice. The surrounding space cracked inch by inch. His whole body turned into a black hurricane, sweeping toward Yi Chen. Wherever he went, the shadows of his fists filled the air. Boom! The sky shook. The two figures kept crossing each other. In an instant, they had exchanged more than 100 blows. Wait, his attack didn't increase. Why is he still unharmed? The more the Troll Emperor fought, the more he felt that something was wrong. Yi Chen's combat power was much weaker than his, but the other party could receive his attacks without a scratch. Is it willpower? Willpower protection? After exchanging more than 10 blows, the Troll Emperor finally understood. The other party had willpower protection. That willpower was immortal willpower. Most of his attacks would be neutralized. You guessed correctly. Yi Chen's voice echoed. Then let's see whether your willpower is stronger or my magic power is stronger. The Troll Emperor's eyes were filled with killing intent. He had decided that even if he had to pay a certain price, he would take care of the other. Otherwise, he really wouldn't know what level the latter could reach. It should be known that once the willpower protection reached an extremely obvious level, it meant that the willpower had reached the 8th step. There was a huge gap between the 8th and 7th step. Countless people had been stuck below the 8th step, and he was no exception. The Troll Emperor's guess was right. Yi Chen's immortal sword intent had indeed advanced from the peak of the 6th step to the early 7th step, which was equivalent to an ordinary 8th step sword intent. At the moment of life and death, the unwillingness in Yi Chen's heart had turned into the immortal power, allowing the immortal sword intent to surpass the destruction sword intent for the first time. After the advancement, the immortal sword intent wouldn't be much more powerful than the destruction sword intent in terms of offense. However, in terms of defense, it was unparalleled. He only needed to slightly activate the immortal sword spirit, and a layer of immortal sword intent would appear on the surface of his body. Without exaggeration, even if he didn't use his protective Jinyuan, no king below 6 stars would be able to injure him. Yi Chen's side had turned the situation around, but the other places were getting more and more difficult. The demon kings of the demons were twice as many as the kings of Elysium. Basically, each of the kings of Elysium was fighting 1 against 2. In the short term, they might be able to hold on, but as time went on, some of the kings started to fall. Meanwhile, the demon kings of the demons who had killed their opponents would become a new source of strength, helping the other demon kings to kill their opponents. If this was considered the worst, then there was something even worse. The few 6-star devils who had no opponents started to kill people like flies. Wherever they went, there would be kings falling without any suspense. If no one stopped them, then Elysium would fall sooner or later. After all, there was only one Yi Chen. Let's die together. Knowing that they were going to die for sure, the kings of Elysium kept dying together with their enemies. However, the sad thing was that only 3 or 4 out of 10 times would succeed. I, Xia Hozuan, am not willing to accept this. If there is a next life, I will definitely wash the demons with blood. There were already a couple of king warriors who had died, and now there was one more. Xia Hozuan from the surreal martial school had been shattered into pieces by 2 demon kings. Su King was extremely sad. Yi Chen, this is my last sword attack. Please take a look. Lu Xiaoyu, who had just paid a huge price to kill his opponent, did not look sad or happy. His flesh and blood were evaporating as that endless power gathered into the great sword in his hand. Then, he threw out a sword attack toward the incoming 6-star devil. Swoosh! The treasured sword pierced through Lu Xiaoyu's body, but Lu Xiaoyu was also smashed into pieces, vanishing without a trace. You managed to break through my protective demon power? Unbelievable! This 6-star devil had killed quite a lot of king warriors of Elysium. That sword attack from Lu Xiaoyu had made him feel a huge threat. It was something that could not be explained at all, since the latter's battling power was only at the early stage of 5-star, and that sword attack was obviously 10 times more powerful than before. I saw it. At this moment, your sword art has surpassed mine. Yi Chen's heart was heavy. That sword attack from Lu Xiaoyu was burning his life force. Even if he was not killed by the 6-star devil, he would not be able to live for long. It was the last dedication of a sword artist, and also his last contribution to the sword art. Chapter 1008. If the battles between king warriors could be described as brutal, then the battles between high-level warriors could only be described as human lives are like grass. Thousands of people were dying at every second. In just 1 hour, the number of casualties on both sides had already reached 200,000. Emperor Realm Shattering Fist. A huge amount of red and yellow fist power shot out, and all the demons caught in the fist power exploded and died. The one who had thrown out the fist power was none other than Jing Aoshuan. After Yi Chen and the group of people had all reached life and death realm, Jing Aoshuan, Li Xiaoyan, and the others had become invincible beings below life and death realm. Right now, Jing Aoshuan had already reached the peak of the third layer of life and death challenge, and her power was not much weaker than normal life and death realm warriors. She alone had killed almost 100 demons. This girl is too arrogant. Let's kill her together. Jing Aoshuan's power had attracted the attention of the powerful demons. Soon, 7 first life and death realm demons had surrounded Jing Aoshuan. These 7 demons were actually at the same cultivation level as Jing Aoshuan, but because of the suppression of Elysium's rules, they had dropped to the first layer of life and death challenge. Kill! The 7 demons joined hands to attack Jing Aoshuan. Chi flows spread out, blowing up sand and stones. After dozens of rounds, Jing Aoshuan killed 5 demons with her absolute power. However, she had also been hit by the remaining 2 demons, falling down to the ground. Demon Power Fist. The demons who were good at fist arts performed their demons' martial arts, throwing out a punch toward Jing Aoshuan's head. Right at this moment, an invisible barrier blocked the punch. Not far away, 2 people appeared. One was Li Xiaoyan, and the other was his girlfriend, Serenity. Just now, it was indeed Serenity who had formed a protective layer with her mind power, saving Jing Aoshuan from death. Jing Aoshuan, don't be careless. As he spoke, Li Xiaoyan's figure flickered, and the iron fan in his hand turned into countless shadows. With a bang, the demons that had been chasing after Jing Aoshuan were torn into pieces. As for the other demons, Serenity's will all drilled into its head. Thanks a lot. Jing Aoshuan was panting heavily. In fact, if it wasn't for the fact that she had consumed too much energy, the 7 devils wouldn't have been a threat to her. Li Xiaoyan sighed. We haven't killed enough. The demons are way more powerful than us in terms of average power and endurance. On the Elysium side, there seemed to be 1,000,000 troops, which was half of the demons, but their real power was probably less than 1/3 of the demons. Among the demons, the lowest cultivation was at mid-astral reaching realm, and it was still under the effect of being suppressed. On the other hand, among the Elysium warriors, the lowest cultivation was at early astral reaching realm. Perhaps the Elysium warriors could use the advantage of their martial arts to make up for the difference, but as time went on, everyone would start to get tired, and their Jin Yuan would be consumed quite a bit as well. They would not be able to compete with the demons, whose life force was higher than theirs. Then let's keep killing. Slightly calming down, Jing Aoshuan's body flashed, flying toward the place with the most demons. Yuexin, perhaps we will die, but at the last moment of our lives, I am already satisfied to have you with me. Li Xiaoyan looked at Serenity with deep emotion. Serenity touched Li Xiaoyan's face. Me too. During the battle with the demons, Serenity was a bit absent-minded. She kept turning her head to look at the sky, thinking to herself, why are they not here yet? Hurry up. Sword Snake Spell. Sword Dragon Spell. Big Dipper 7-star Spell. On the battlefield, there was a group of people that attracted a lot of attention. They were the people of the Fallen Dust Sword Martial School. Individually, they might not be that powerful, but they could set up a sword spell and kill their enemies with it. Among them, the Sword Snake spell required 33 people to set up, the Sword Dragon spell required 42 people, and the most powerful Big Dipper 7-star spell required 49 people. At first glance, there were more than 10 Sword Snake spells, 7 Sword Dragon spells, and 2 Big Dipper 7-star spell. With the sword spell, they could usually fight against 2 or 3 demons at once. No matter how many demons there were, they would all be shattered by the power of the spell. They were invincible and unstoppable. Even some of the first-level Life and Death Challenge demons had died under the Big Dipper 7-star spell. What a powerful sword spell! With this spell, the Fallen Dust Sword Martial School's name will spread across the world and become the #1 sword martial school. A lot of the surrounding warriors had a whole new level of respect for the Fallen Dust Sword Martial School. In the past, although the Fallen Dust Sword Martial School was famous, it was only because of Yi Qin. Yi Qin alone could make up for an entire martial school. Without Yi Qin, the Fallen Dust Sword Martial School would only be a normal rank 6 martial school. But now, with the sword spell, even if Yi Qin was not there, the fallen Dust Sword Martial School would still be a top-rank 6 martial school. This should be the sword spell created by the Sword King Yichen, right? Only he could be this talented and bring the sword art to a new height. It is not just limited to sword arts. Some people guessed. Chen Er's sword spell is indeed useful. Within one of the Big Dipper 7-star spell, the warriors who had set it up were all at the Sea of Souls realm, with Yi Tianhao as the eye of the spell. Right then, Yi Tianhao said to Shen Yuqing with a smile. Unfortunately, the more powerful 8-trigram extermination sword spell could not be set up. Shen Yuqing's brows were constantly furrowed. Their side had always been successful, but a lot of people had died in other places. The fallen Dust Sword Martial School had also lost 3 sword snake spells and 1 sword dragon spell. 8-trigram extermination sword spell, even with Chen Er's explanation, it is still too profound. Yi Tianhao sighed at the fact that the fallen Dust Sword Martial School's foundation was still too shallow. If they were given another 10 years, the overall power of the fallen Dust Sword Martial School would definitely double. If it were 100 years, the power of the fallen Dust Sword Martial School might even increase by 10 times. 42. 43. Although Zhang Haoren was a member of the fallen Dust Sword Martial School, his path had already been decided. Therefore, he did not train in sword arts, and only used his bare hands to kill the demons. Lynch, how many have you killed? From far away, Zhang Haoren's voice came to Lynch's ears. 50. After splitting the bodies of the 3 demons, Lynch continued, now it's 53. Damn, looks like I have to work harder. Zhang Haoren's fighting spirit did not decrease. Instead, it increased. He and Lynch were not purely competing. Instead, they were using the competition to make themselves forget about fatigue. Jie Dai. After killing Lu Xiaoyu, the 6-star devil was invincible. Even the sky-splitting Spear Emperor and the Mountain Sovereign could not stop him. In just a short while, he was killed on the spot. At this point, there were only about 200 kings left in Elysium, while the demons still had more than 700 demon kings. The gap had widened to 3 times. On the other side, a sharp sword pierced through the air. The 6-star demons finally could not regenerate anymore and died. He's finally dead. Yi Chen, who was fighting with the Troll Emperor, heaved a sigh of relief. Previously, he was about to kill the old demons, but at the crucial moment, the Troll Emperor destroyed his body with a punch, allowing the old demons to escape. After recovering, Yi Chen continued to use the 9-in-1 swordsmanship to chase after the old demons. No matter how far the old demons ran, he could not get rid of him. Even if you kill 1 or 2 more, what's the use? The Troll Emperor's attacks were like a thunderstorm. During this period, he did not forget to use words to attack Yi Chen's confidence. At least we haven't lost yet. Yi Chen tried his best to block the Troll Emperor's attacks. Then you can only watch as everyone dies. The Troll Emperor's eyes were cold. To be honest, the fact that Elysium could fight until now was more or less out of his expectation. However, since it had reached this point, there was no need to think about anything else. The demons still had more than 700 demon kings, which was enough to crush the kings of Elysium. Are we really going to die? Yi Chen could not help but glance in the direction of the dragon god's celestial palace. If senior sister Su Jing did not come now, then when would she come? In the endless void, there was a spherical space. A sonorous dragon roar burst out, and the surging space power in the void seemed to have condensed. In the next moment, a golden figure flew out of the spherical space, as fast as a golden light. Junior brother Yi, I'm here. Wearing a golden robe and a head full of soft long hair, Su Jing's eyes were golden, and her face was smooth and flawless. A faint golden halo could be seen amidst her pure white skin. Her entire body was filled with a frightening power that caused the void to tremble. Anyone standing in front of her would feel very small. Swish! With a flash of golden light, Su Jing disappeared without a trace. The ocean gazing was a mess. Black shadows were clashing with each other like tides, leaving behind endless blood and wreckage. The entire True Spirit continent could feel and hear the bitter aura. Vaguely, everyone on the battlefield seemed to hear the roar of a dragon. They did not think much of it, thinking that it was an illusion. After fighting for so long, they were already extremely tired. Hallucinating was very normal. Dying in an illusion was also a good thing. At least, it would not be so painful. The dragon roar, which was 10 times louder than before, continued. No, it's not an illusion. It's a real dragon roar. Many transformed demonic beasts felt their knees go soft. This was the instinctive reaction of a lower being facing a higher being. Rumble. Endless golden light exploded, and the entire sky seemed to have turned golden. Amidst the blood clouds condensed from blood chi, a huge golden figure of unknown length was swimming at high speed. It seemed slow, but it was actually extremely fast. Wherever it went, the blood clouds were dispersed. By the time the sky cleared up, that huge figure had already disappeared. That's a divine dragon. Some transformed demonic beasts' faces shone with a devout light. Even a divine dragon had come to participate in the battle. Why would they be afraid of death? On the ocean near the ocean gazing, the kings were fighting unceasingly. Basically, each king of Elysium had to face 3 demon kings. I can die without regrets. A smile appeared on Yen Fengfeng's face. Up until now, she had already killed 6 demon kings. Her body ignited with a blue flame, and she was about to meet her death. Bang! A few thousand li-long dragon with pure golden light all over its body swam over. Its speed was indescribable. By the time Yen Fengfeng came back to her senses, the 4 demon kings around her had already disappeared, as if they had never existed in the first place. This kind of scene happened frequently. Everyone could see a huge dragon shuttling between them. In a short period of time, dozens of demon kings had died under the dragon's attack. They did not know how powerful the dragon was, but they knew that in terms of group killing ability, even Yi Chen and the Troll Emperor could not compare. Just that several thousand li-long body of hers could scare people silly. Chapter 1009. This is a giant dragon? Void Ancestor and Jailer's eyes went wide. They had also heard of the legends of giant dragons. Since ancient times, although there weren't many who had seen a giant dragon, there were many records regarding them. According to the legends, once a giant dragon matured, it would become a demonic king. Even the weakest among them would be 10 times stronger than life and death kings of the same realm. Their strength could knock down stars, and their claws were comparable to divine weapons. Their scales were equivalent to supreme-grade armors. Their dragon breath had the power to destroy everything, and their dragon might could even slow down the enemy's movements. The weak ones couldn't even move. Giant dragons were creatures at the apex of the chain of life. In Elysium's legends, only phoenixes that could rise from the ashes could compare to giant dragons. But in terms of strength, phoenixes were inferior to giant dragons. Void Ancestor and Jailer had never imagined that Elysium would have a living giant dragon. Moreover, this giant dragon had clearly reached the demonic king realm. Finally here, Xianhou felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from her shoulders. Although Su Jing's arrival didn't mean that they could turn defeat into victory, they had at least gained a powerful new force. Relying on a woman's intuition, Murong Qingqing vaguely guessed that this giant dragon that had suddenly appeared was Su Jing, whom she had never met before. She was Yi Chen's senior sister in Sky Cloud sect. Giant golden dragon, what a strange identity. Murong Qingqing retracted her gaze, no longer being distracted. The giant golden dragon is on our side. There's hope for this war. With Yi Chen and the giant golden dragon, victory will be ours. Su Jing's addition greatly boosted the morale of Elysium's side. Everyone seemed to have been injected with chicken blood, becoming incomparably vigorous. Many of them even broke through their limits and advanced a step further. Senior Sister Su Jing, you are finally here. Yi Chen smacked his lips as he looked at the golden dragon that was thousands of miles long. He had never imagined that a true dragon would be so huge. Back in the dragon transformation pool, Su Jing was only a dozen meters long. But now, a single eye of hers was the size of a mountain. Junior brother Yi, I didn't expect the situation here to be so bad. If I had known, I would have left the dragon transformation pool earlier. Su Jing's voice rang out in Yi Chen's mind. Sharpening the axe will not delay the work of cutting firewood. It's not too late to come now. I'll leave the 6-star devil to you. Once you kill them, our chances of winning will increase by 10 to 20%. Now was not the time for nonsense, Yichen continued. All right. Su Jing's huge body swam around, and she charged toward the nearest 6-star demon king. Along the way, she got rid of a dozen demon kings who couldn't dodge in time. I don't care if you are a dragon or not. Take my spear. The 6-star devil that was closest to Su Jing was 3 meters tall and had a dozen bone spikes on his back. When he saw the golden dragon swimming towards him, he was shocked at first. Then, a ferocious expression appeared on his face. This ferocious expression was too deliberate. It gave people a feeling that he was strong on the outside but weak on the inside. It was obvious that he was frightened by the identity of the golden dragon. Bang! The dark light of the spear cut through the sky and pierced through the dragon scales on the golden dragon's body. Immediately, golden blood spurted out from the wound like a golden river. At the same time, the golden dragon's claws sent the other party flying. He spat out 7 or 8 mouthfuls of blood, and his body was almost destroyed. The so-called golden dragon is just SOS. Although he was more seriously injured, the 6-star devil laughed out loud. The defense of the golden dragon's dragon scales wasn't as high as he had imagined. It couldn't reach the level of a top-grade defensive armor. Is that so? Golden blood spurted out like a river, but Su Jing didn't care about it at all. This bit of blood was only a drop in the ocean to her body that was several thousand kilometers long, and it wasn't worth mentioning. But one couldn't help but notice that this huge body was indeed invincible when dealing with weak demon kings, but it was a bit of a hindrance when dealing with a 6-star demon king. It wasn't that agile when dodging, and she was completely a live target. Then let's become smaller. The golden light condensed and Su Jing's body shrank rapidly. From thousands of miles long, she was only a few dozen meters long. The dragon scales that were as big as a lake had shrunk to the size of a bowl. Although her body had shrunk, the light that she emitted was even more intense. It was like a golden flame. Kill! With a flash of black light, the devil stabbed with his spear again. Ding! The result was completely different from the last time. The dark spear only left a shallow mark on the dragon scales. It couldn't break through the defense at all. It seemed that the smaller the body, the higher the defense of the dragon scales. Impossible! As if he didn't believe that he couldn't break through the opponent's defense, the devil exerted all his strength and stabbed with his spear again. The sharp spear light was like a cutting machine, cutting through the golden dragon scales. But the result was the same. He still couldn't break through the defense. Now it's my turn. Opening her dragon mouth, Su Jing spat out a ball of dazzling golden light at the devil. Boom! The intense light exploded and more than half of the devil's body was vaporized. At the crucial moment, the devil's spear sliced through the golden light and was only hit by half of it. Too strong. Su Jing's strength caused fear to rise in the devil's heart. Her defense was comparable to a peak-grade low-grade armor, and her offense far surpassed his. How could he fight against her? You think you can escape? After shrinking, although Su Jing's speed had decreased, she was still terrifyingly fast. In just a few breaths, she caught up to the devil and lashed out with her tail. The speed of the tail was too fast. The devil was forcefully smashed apart, turning into a blood mist. Regather my body! A furious roar rang out as the blood mist condensed. How could Su Jing give her opponent the chance to condense a physical body? She opened her dragon mouth, and a dazzling light wave rushed into the blood mist. With a rumbling sound, all the blood mist evaporated, as if it had never existed. Too strong. This is the might of a giant dragon. Many devil kings were shocked. In the records, giant dragons had no weaknesses. When they were large, they could destroy an entire continent. When they were small, the defense of their dragon scales would reach the limit, comparable to a peak-grade defensive armor. Other than that, the giant dragon's dragon breath was extremely destructive. Those weaker than the giant dragon might be instantly killed by the dragon breath. As expected of a giant dragon. Yichen saw all this and was inwardly shocked by the giant dragon's destructive power. The Troll Emperor frowned and sent a soul message to the other devil kings. Don't be scared by her destructive power. Her true combat power is only at the peak of 6-star. Surround her and kill her. The Troll Emperor's eyes were sharp. Although Su Jing had easily killed a 6-star devil, it didn't mean that she was so powerful. The giant dragon's strength lay in its overwhelming power. Anyone weaker than her would be easily killed. In other words, a king whose strength was higher than the giant dragon might not be as fast as the giant dragon when killing weaker kings. However, if they were to fight against the giant dragon would definitely not be its opponent. Yeah. Even if her defense is comparable to a peak-grade armor, so what? As long as we attack together, even a peak-grade armor will be broken. After all, the Troll Emperor was a demon emperor. What he said definitely made sense. After receiving the order, the Devil Kings gathered in groups of 2s and 3s. There were more than 30 of them. The 2 Devil Kings in the lead were 6-star devils. Before, their hands were stained with the blood of many kings of Elysium. Now, they planned to stain their hands with the dragon's blood. Kill! Without any words, the 30 Devil Kings attacked Su Jing together. Violent air currents crisscrossed and shrouded the tens of meters long body of the giant dragon. Unable to dodge all the attacks, sparks flew on Su Jing's body. From time to time, golden blood droplets would splatter out. This was a sign of the dragon's scales being broken. If one hammer couldn't smash a rock, one more hammer might shatter the rock. With 30 Devil Kings attacking together, even the Troll Emperor and Yi Chen would have to retreat. They could only resort to guerrilla warfare or simply escape. Although the giant dragon was a creature with no weaknesses, it couldn't withstand a group of Devil Kings. If you want to fight, I'll keep you company. A strong fighting spirit burst out from Su Jing's eyes. Her dragon body actually started to expand, reaching the length of thousands of miles. Then, ignoring the attacks of the other party, she clawed at one of the Devil Kings. This Devil King's strength was only around 4-star. He was grabbed by the dragon claw. The 2 dragon fingers were like mountains, easily crushing him into pieces. However, there were also countless wounds on Su Jing's body. Some of the wounds were thousands of meters long. Pale golden blood spurted out, like the water of the heavenly river flowing backward. Next, Su Jing's eyes were cold and emotionless. The reason why she enlarged her body was to exchange injuries with the other party. Compared to before, although the defense of the dragon's scales was weaker, the huge dragon body covered up this weakness. She could use light injuries to exchange for the lives of 30 Devil Kings. Another Devil King was crushed to death. Let's see how long you can last. A 6-star demon king found an opportunity and threw a light ball of magical power that had been compressed countless times into the wound of the giant dragon. Rumble! The magic light ball exploded inside. The destructive power was dozens of times stronger than before. The wound that was originally thousands of meters long expanded to dozens of miles. Even the dragon's bones could be seen. Ninth. Su Jing didn't seem to feel any pain. A golden dragon breath was spewed out, and several Devil Kings were vaporized into nothingness. At this moment, the Troll Emperor sent a voice transmission to some Devil Kings. Another 30. Hearing this, 30 Devil Kings rushed over. Not good. Yi Chen's expression changed. The power of the giant dragon had no weaknesses. She could indeed fight against many as long as there weren't demons stronger than her. However, if 50 Devil Kings joined forces, Su Jing might really be killed. The giant dragon's body was huge. Although it could reduce serious injuries to minor injuries, it also meant that she would become a live target. Senior Sister Su Jing, come over here. Yi Chen hurriedly sent a voice transmission to Su Jing. Su Jing didn't doubt him. Her huge body endured countless attacks and slithered toward Yi Chen, spraying countless amounts of golden dragon blood along the way. Chapter 10:10. The Wolf King, come out. Yi Chen abruptly patted the beast tag hanging on his waist. A wolf howl was heard, and a scarlet-haired demonic wolf with eyes on its forehead scuttled out. The current dream-eating wolf was a demonic king, and its demonic power was incomparably vigorous, even more majestic than Yi Chen's Zhenyuan. After devouring a supreme-grade demonic power crystal, the dream-eating wolf's demonic power cultivation base had long since surpassed 20,000 years. After all, once a demonic beast entered life and death realm, its cultivation base would far surpass that of a human, not to mention a demonic beast like the dream-eating wolf, which had already gone extinct in Elysium. Of course, this was also related to the dream-eating wolf's powerful soul and proficiency in dreamland power. Otherwise, its cultivation base wouldn't have increased so quickly. Grow bigger! Yi Chen ordered the dream-eating wolf. Yes. The dream-eating wolf spoke human language, and its body rapidly grew as if it was filled with air, reaching dozens of li in height and 100 li in length. This was not the true body of the dream-eating wolf, as its real body was not this big. However, after reaching life and death realm, both demonic beasts and humans could grow bigger. For example, Yi Chen could also grow bigger. Although it was impossible for him to reach thousands of li like Su Jing, it was still possible for him to grow to dozens of li. However, such growth required a vigorous cultivation base. With Yi Chen's cultivation base, his Zhenyuan would be diluted if he grew to dozens of li, and he wouldn't be able to display its original might. The dream-eating wolf's cultivation base had already surpassed 20,000 years. At such a huge size, its strength would drop by at least 30%, but its attack range would increase by countless folds. Without Yi Chen's command, the pawn-sized eyes on the dream-eating wolf's forehead opened, and a boundless dim light spread out towards Su Jing's direction. In a split second, the 50 demon kings chasing Su Jing were all shrouded by the dim light. In the next moment, apart from a few with powerful wills, the rest of the 50 demon kings' eyes turned sluggish as they fell into a dreamland. Senior sister Su Jing, quickly kill them. Yi Chen made a prompt decision. Su Jing's eyes brightened as she turned her body and swooped back. Not good. Giant Devil Emperor finally understood Yi Chen's plan. He didn't expect that Yi Chen had also subdued a beast wolf king proficient in dreamland abilities. This kind of dreamland ability might not be very powerful in battle, but its auxiliary effects were incomparable. It was a great killing weapon in group battles. As long as one's will was not up to par, they would fall into dreamland and be unable to extricate themselves. By the time they woke up, it would be too late. Roar! The Troll Emperor roared, and his 5-meter-tall body expanded, turning into a 100-mile-tall super troll. Compared to the Troll Emperor, Su Jing's dragon body was longer, but it wasn't as thick as the Troll Emperor's. It was just like a slightly larger python. Get lost! The pitch-black fist was dozens of miles wide, and it filled the heavens and earth. It sent Yi Chen flying. The Troll Emperor took a step forward, ignoring the distance of hundreds of thousands of miles, and chased after Su Jing. Unfortunately, he was one step too slow, and Su Jing's speed wasn't any slower than his. In an instant, more than 30 demon kings were smashed to pieces. Su Jing's huge dragon body was invincible in group battles. The demon kings that were hit by her were like praying mantises under a wheel, easily crushed to death. Soon, the Troll Emperor caught up with Su Jing, grabbed Su Jing's dragon body, and tore it apart. A soul-stirring scene happened. Su Jing's 1,000-mile-long dragon body was torn in two, and a river of dragon blood gushed out, sprinkling on the Troll Emperor's body. Merciless water and fire. With the protection of the immortal sword intent, Yi Chen was unharmed. Seeing Su Jing's dragon body being torn apart, a burning killing intent flashed in his eyes. Raising the demon-slaughtering sword high, Yi Chen gathered his Zhenyuan and slashed at the Troll Emperor from afar. Among all of Yi Chen's sword techniques, the merciless water and fire had the longest range. Even if you were at the edge of the sky, you would still be cut down by the sword. The green sword curtain was hundreds of thousands of miles long, and with a flash, the Troll Emperor was split in two. The destructive sword light evaporated a lot of the Troll Emperor's demonic power. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Su Jing's dragon body quickly shrunk, becoming hundreds of meters long. Like a small earthworm on a giant palm, it broke free from the Troll Emperor's control and then connected together. This demon's demonic power is many times denser than my dragon power. To kill him, even if all of us join hands, we might not be able to do it." With a flash of golden light, Su Jing appeared next to Yi Chen, a trace of worry on her face. The Troll Emperor's demonic power was too terrifying. She was a golden dragon, and the reason why she could become thousands of miles long was because of the dragon's unique ability, not because she had that much dragon power. Therefore, once she became too big, her strength would drop a lot. However, the Troll Emperor had become hundreds of miles tall, but his strength did not drop much. It could be seen that the opponent's demonic power had reached an uncontrollable level. Among humans, the only one who can compete with him in terms of cultivation base is probably Senior Yuan Emperor. Yi Chen had a deep understanding of this point. After fighting for such a long time, the opponent's demonic power was estimated to be less than 1%. If this continued, he would die without a doubt, unless he was like Senior Yuan Emperor, who was born with a Dharma body and endless Shen Yuan. The Wolf King, how many times can you use your Dreamland ability? The Dream-Eating Wolf's title was the Wolf King. As Yi Chen's trump card, Yi Chen only released it now because he had his own plans. The Wolf King's Dreamland ability was indeed very powerful, but it consumed too much demonic power and soul power. Demonic power was fine, but soul power was something that everyone lacked. The Wolf King spoke human language. It depends on the situation. Under normal circumstances, I can use it about 3 times. If it's like just now, expanding the range to the extreme, I can only use it once. After that, I will only have a trace of soul power left, and I will even lose basic combat power. I will need to sleep for a long time to recover completely. Only once? Yi Chen frowned. If the Dream-Eating Wolf's ability was used well, it could greatly reduce the gap between him and the enemy. If it was not used well, it would only be a waste of opportunity. It seems like I can only give it a try. Turning his head, Yi Chen said to Su Jing and the Wolf King, "I will hold off the Troll Emperor. You two don't separate. I will let the others gather with you." Then, Yi Chen spread his soul power to the dozens of Elysium kings nearby. "Everyone, gather around the Wolf King. Also, you guys send a soul message." Yi Chen's soul power had a limited range. Some kings had already fought millions of miles away, so soul messages couldn't reach them. He could only send them one by one. "Gather over there. What's going on?" Although they didn't know what Yi Chen was planning, everyone was exhausted. 1 against 3 wasn't a joke. Although their undying bodies could let them hold on for a while, they would still die after a long time. After all, in the past, they could choose to escape if they couldn't beat their opponents. But now, if they tried to escape, it would be the same as running away. Therefore, when they heard Yi Chen telling them to go over, they all became spirited. While sending a soul message to the others, they quickly ran away. They were so close to killing their opponents. How could these demon kings let them escape? They chased after them crazily. Space tunnel. It was not easy for the Air Emperor to keep a 6-star devil occupied for so long with the strength of a 5-star tyrant. Seeing that the world of space was about to collapse, he waved his right hand, and a tunnel made of space energy appeared behind him. Entering the tunnel, the Air Emperor appeared near the Wolf King and Su Jing. Brilliance of realm. Xuanho's space profound martial arts were more profound than the Air Emperor's. A mirror appeared in front of her, and Xuanho's figure was reflected in it. In the next moment her body disappeared and appeared in the mirror. The mirror shot out a 5-colored light beam, sending Xuanho far away. The Void Ancestor had been beaten up by the Lord of Fear to the point where he didn't even look human. At this moment, he was at the end of his rope. Without thinking, his body started to turn ethereal, and he used a void escape art to escape in the direction of the Wolf King. Don't even think about escaping. The Lord of Fear was a bit angry. His strength was much higher than his opponent, and it was already very humiliating for him to not be able to take down his opponent. How could he watch him escape? Eye of Fear. The Lord of Fear's forehead split open, and a black eyeball floated out. With a poof, a black brilliance shot out, and accurately hit the Void Ancestor's ethereal body. Half of his body collapsed, and the Void Ancestor screamed. Fortunately, he forcefully changed his trajectory, and he wasn't completely annihilated. Don't even think about it. How could the Troll Emperor not know what Yi Chen was planning? His body instantly turned from hundreds of miles tall to hundreds of miles tall, and he punched out. Behind him, another Troll Emperor actually appeared, and it charged toward the Wolf King and Su Jing. I'm afraid it won't go as you wish. A sharp sword appeared out of nowhere, and it blocked the Troll Emperor's clone. Meanwhile, Yi Chen's sword faced the Troll Emperor's main body, and the two sides started fighting again. Gradually, one after another, the kings of Elysium gathered together. The number went from dozens to more than 100, and there were still some people rushing over. I'll make a move first. Murong Qingqing single-handedly entangled the 3 six-star devils, and it played a huge role. However, her strength was only at the mid-stage of the 6-star devils, after all. To be able to entangle the opponents, she had to rely on the mobility provided by the devil wings. With a violent flap of the devil wings, Murong Qingqing turned into a black t, and she disappeared into the distance. In the end, the number of kings that gathered around the Wolf King reached about 200. This was basically the only kings left. Opposite them, the demons had also gathered together. There were about 600 of them, which was more than 3 times their number. Leading them was the Lord of Fear and 10 six-star devils. As for the Troll Emperor, he was entangled by Yi Chen. This was Yi Chen's plan. He would drag the Troll Emperor far away, and then use the large-scale dream ability of the Wolf King to make the demon kings with low willpower fall into a dream. This way, the strength of both sides would be reduced to a limit. If the Troll Emperor rushed over, this plan wouldn't work. With the strong willpower and terrifying boundless magic of the Troll Emperor, he could resist all of them by himself. As for joining forces to cast soul attacks, it wouldn't work now. Everyone's soul power had been consumed to a critical point since the start of the battle. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to last until now. Chapter 10-11. Everyone be careful of that Wolf King. He has a dreamscape ability, and those with willpower below the 7th order will fall into his dreamscape. The range of his dreamscape is over 250,000 li. The Troll Emperor's thoughts were meticulous. The Wolf King had only used his dreamscape ability once, and he had already analyzed the pros and cons. 250,000 li? Retreat. Hearing this, the demon kings hurriedly retreated, widening the distance between them to 400,000 li. This distance was already very far, and any further and they would not be able to sense each other. My innate ability can create a thought-shielding field with a radius of 10 meters. It can cancel out dreamscape abilities. Stay close to me. Although dreamscape abilities were strange, there were many strange abilities in the outside world. In the outside world, there were even more strange abilities than dreamscape abilities. However, this did not mean that these abilities had no natural enemies. After some people suffered a loss, they would use these abilities to research secret arts to counter them. In addition, there were also people with innate abilities that could resist dreamscape abilities. It's actually dreamscape ability. Against dreamscape abilities, if one's willpower is not high enough, the soul defense layer is useless. This is because the soul defense layer is also constructed from soul force, and the essence is unchanged. Only willpower secret arts can work. Willpower secret arts were even rarer than soul secret arts. Willpower originated from the soul, but it had no definite relationship with the soul. Using willpower to shield dreamscape abilities could protect the soul from being affected. For a moment, the demon kings were thinking of ways to deal with it. On Elysium's side, the Wolf King said to everyone, "My dreamscape ability has a range of 350,000 li, but the further the distance, the smaller the effect. At 350,000 li, only those with late 6th order willpower and below will be affected. At 300,000 li, those with peak 6th order willpower and below will be affected. At 250,000 li, those with 7th order willpower and below will be affected. This is the optimal distance. Any closer and it will be impossible to surpass." "How long will the dreamscape be?" Jailer asked. "It depends on the level of willpower. At 250,000 li, peak 6th order willpower will fall for about 2 breaths. Late 6th order willpower will fall for 5 breaths. Mid 6th order willpower will fall for 9 breaths. Of course, if the other party is attacked, they will wake up immediately. Although dreamscape abilities could make people fall, don't forget that everyone had immortal bodies. Even if they fell into a dreamscape and were attacked, they would not die immediately. Among everyone, only Su Jing had the ability to kill a demon king in an instant. The others would probably have to attack many times to kill a demon king. Therefore, both Su Jing and the Wolf King were crucial. Demon kings in Dreamscape would wake up immediately after being attacked and would not be given a second chance. Those with peak 6th order willpower are hard to kill. 2 breaths is too short. We won't be able to get there in time. It seems that killing 100 demon kings is already our limit. Xianhou said after pondering for a while. The Demon Flower Emperor frowned. They seem to know the Wolf King's ability. Once the Wolf King gets close to them, he will definitely be attacked. No worries. I have a way to let the Wolf King go over safely and come back at any time. Xianhou said confidently. All right, I almost forgot that you're proficient in Space Profound. The Demon Flower Emperor nodded. Xuanhou's research on Space Profound was varied. Although some of it could not be used in battle, at a crucial moment, it could be used to reverse the situation. Taking a deep breath, Xianhou said to everyone, "Everyone remember, when I say move, we will advance together. When I say attack, we will attack together. If the timing is good, we might be able to eliminate a large number of demon kings in one go." Okay, we'll listen to you. With so many demon kings, we should eliminate as many as we can. I didn't expect the Sword King to have a Wolf King who is proficient in Dreamscape ability. From the start of the battle until now, Yi Chen's role was unquestionable. If he did not entangle the Troll Emperor, this battle would have been lost long ago. Now, there was the addition of the Wolf King. This made everyone secretly sigh at Yi Chen's unfathomable strength. At the same time, they were all overjoyed. The Wolf King, get ready. Xianhou secretly told the Wolf King some details. I'm ready. The Wolf King nodded, his eyes fixed forward. Xianhou did not speak. Her hands formed seals at a dreamy speed. Because the speed was too fast, at a glance, it would seem that her fingers were not moving at all. Behind the dream-eating wolf, a mirror suddenly appeared. The mirror reflected the Wolf King's figure. The next moment, the Wolf King suddenly appeared in the mirror. Immediately, the mirror radiated brilliance, and a 5-colored light beam ejected the Wolf King. The speed of light was 300,000 meters, which was 600,000 kilometers. It was several times faster than the speed of anyone present in the void. It almost exceeded everyone's reaction time. About 200,000 kilometers ahead, the Dream Wolf King's figure appeared. Not good. The Demon Kings were shocked. In their line of sight, endless light gushed over. They had no time to react. Kill him. Although there were not many Demon Kings with willpower at the 7th step, there were still dozens of them. These dozens of Demon Kings were still very clear-headed. They joined forces and attacked the Wolf King. However, just as they were about to attack, they discovered that a mirror had appeared in front of the Dream Wolf King. The mirror reflected the Dream Wolf King, and then, just like before, the Dream Wolf King was sent back in the form of a multicolored beam of light. Their attacks didn't even harm a hair on the Dream Wolf King's body. Move! The moment the mirror appeared, Xianhou instantly transmitted her voice. Swish! 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 Everyone from Elysium broke through the space and rapidly shuttled through the void. After 2 breaths, the space shattered, and everyone appeared at a place only tens of thousands of kilometers away from the Demon Kings. Attack! In the void, everyone had already prepared their ultimate move. The moment they appeared, they attacked. Boom boom boom. Saber light, sword chi, palm shadows, leg shadows, fist energy, more than 200 attacks flew out. At this time, the Demon Kings whose willpower had reached the peak of the 6th step had just woken up. However, they clearly had no time to prepare their attacks. They only felt that as soon as they woke up, countless attacks bombarded them. Although these attacks were not as fast as light, It only took an instant for them to cross hundreds of thousands of kilometers. As for those dozens of demon kings who had not fallen into the dreamland, how could they block so many attacks? They were not the Troll Emperor. If they were the Troll Emperor, he could completely enlarge his body and fight against everyone from Elysium. With his boundless mana, he could completely do this. At most, he would lose half of his mana, but it was impossible for him to die. Pew. In the blink of an eye, 60 to 70 demon kings exploded, turning into blood mist. Before this blood mist could condense, it was evaporated into nothingness. The combined attack of over 200 kings was no joke. These attacks stacked together, and the quantitative change resulted in a qualitative change. It was like a massive star exploding in the midst of the demon kings, radiating boundless light and heat. This was not the end. A dragon's roar suddenly came from the sky. A golden dragon that was thousands of kilometers long appeared tens of thousands of kilometers in front of the demon kings. The dragon opened its mouth, and a dazzling light wave that was like a small sun shot out. In the next moment, another 30 demon kings were evaporated by the light wave. The chaotic force caused all the surviving demon kings to be stunned, and they could not tell which direction was which. Retreat. Suanho was not greedy. If they continued to attack at this time, they might be able to kill more demon kings, but it would put everyone in danger. Once these demon kings woke up, they would definitely have many casualties. After all, there were more than 600 demon kings. Killing around 100 meant that there would be more than 500 of them. With the combined attack of more than 500 demon kings, they would not be able to bear the consequences. Including Su Jing, everyone from Elysium flew back, increasing the distance between them. Killed 100 demon kings. Not bad. Yichen nodded slightly when he saw all of this. He did not think that the Wolf King could turn the tables with his dream world ability. This was impossible. The difference in numbers between the two sides was too great. If they wanted to turn the tables, it would be impossible to do it with just one the Wolf King. Unless there were 3 or 4 Wolf Kings. Of course, if there were 3 or 4 Su Jing Yas, they could also turn the tables. Unfortunately, they did not have them. Good, very good. The Lord of Fear's expression was ferocious, and his eyes were bloodshot. About 100 demon kings had been annihilated in front of his eyes. This was undoubtedly a great humiliation. Back then, they had failed because Elysium had people who were absolutely powerful. For example, people like the Yuan Emperor, who had the combat power of a 7-star pinnacle. Now, be it in terms of numbers or powerhouses, they far surpassed their opponents. However, they did not expect that they would still be in such a miserable state. Out of 1,000 demon kings, there were only about 500 left, which was a loss of almost half of their forces. On the other hand, Elysium had only lost about 300 people. Of course, he also knew that there were 3 reasons for this result. The first reason was that Yi Chen's combat power was too terrifying. Although he was not as good as the Troll Emperor, he could hold off the Troll Emperor. The second reason was the Golden Dragon. The Golden Dragon was a headache in terms of defense, size, and lethality. In a group battle, it was even more useful than Yi Chen. The third reason was the Wolf King, who was proficient in the ability of dreams. Although he did not kill a single demon king, more than 100 demon kings had died because of him. At this time, the Lord of Fear secretly cursed the cursed demon emperor. He should not have died so early. If the cursed demon emperor had not died, with the power of his curse, he could have cursed most people. If he had not died, this battle would have ended long ago. How could so many demon kings have died? However, he did not expect that the other party would target the cursed demon emperor. It could only be said that they were too careless. The result of carelessness was that the direction of the situation had become confusing. Very good. I did not expect you to be so tenacious. This is indeed beyond my expectations, said the Troll Emperor, who was held back by Yi Chen, as he punched away Yi Chen. Yi Chen frowned. He had a feeling that something bad was about to happen. However, your ending has long been decided. No matter how much you struggle, it is useless. Taking a deep breath, the Troll Emperor transmitted his voice. Use the puppet warships and join forces to kill them. Use the puppet warships? The Lord of Fear also felt that there was no need to worry about the puppet warships being damaged. They had already lost enough demon kings. If they did not use the puppet warships, although they still had a 99% chance of winning, how many demon kings would be left by then? The faces of the people of Elysium suddenly turned pale. In the distance, puppet warships of 700 to 800 meters long flew over like a moving dark cloud. Chapter 10-12. The land of extreme negative energy was located between the misty snow region and the wavy cloud region. There was a stoneman formation in this place. In the past, Yi Chen and Murong Qingqing had entered the underground world from this place. Rumble. The stoneman formation, which was made up of many stone men, suddenly started to move. These stone men kept moving like stars, or like two invisible giants using the stone men as chess pieces. In the blink of an eye, the stoneman formation had changed hundreds of times. After a few blinks of an eye, the stoneman formation had changed beyond recognition. The moment the stone golem formation stopped moving, a vast ripple spread out. Then, a transparent light formation appeared above the stone golem formation. The light formation covered an area of several dozen li, and there were people standing on the surface of the light formation. At a rough glance, there were at least 100,000 of them, and the 100 or so people in the lead did not have powerful auras. However, when they opened and closed their eyes, there seemed to be stars appearing and disappearing, and all sorts of mysterious trajectories could be seen. Elysium is in danger. Everyone, it's time for us to do our part. Standing at the front was a white-haired old man. He wore a simple robe, and his hair was draped over his shoulders. He held a wooden staff in his hand, and at the end of the staff, there was a huge sky-blue gem. Since ancient times, every time Elysium faced a calamity, our underground race has never been absent. This time is no exception. In order to prevent Elysium from being enslaved, don't show any mercy. Now, let's show those humans on the surface how powerful our will is and how magical our will attacks are. Let's go. The brown-robed old man standing next to the white-haired old man waved his hand and shouted. As soon as the brown-robed old man finished his words, the light formation gradually turned illusory. In the next moment, the huge light formation, carrying more than 100,000 people, disappeared into the void. These puppet battleships should be at the same level as the puppet sex battleships from 5,000 years ago. However, back then, the puppet sect only managed to develop 3 battleships, but there are 400 of them here. The puppet school had long since been submerged in the river of time, but the puppets they had left behind were still impressive. It was said that the sect protecting battleship of the puppet school could fight against several normal kings. If it was given time to accumulate energy, it could kill a peak king in one shot. Of course, this was just pure power. A peak king would not just stand there and let it kill them, but it also reflected the destructive power of the battleship. Forget it. If worst comes to worst, we'll just fight to the death. Since we can't defend Elysium, I, the Void Ancestor, am willing to fight to the death. I believe that the spirits of our ancestors in heaven won't blame us too much. The Void Ancestor's expression calmed down, his eyes filled with the resolution of certain death. The time given to us is too short, and the time given to those geniuses is also too short. They haven't grown strong enough yet. Although the internal conflict can make them stronger and cultivate a real Gu King, time waits for no man. Jailer glanced at Yi Qin and sighed. The latter was undoubtedly a peerless character of this era. If he had enough time, he would not be weaker than Yuan Emperor and the others. If they had known that the foreign race's calamity would come so soon, they wouldn't have minded making Elysium more chaotic. Perhaps it would have helped the geniuses grow faster. One should know that a person as powerful as Yuan Emperor could fight against hundreds of kings. They could use guerrilla warfare to kill batch after batch of enemies until all of them were dead. It's not too late. As long as we can hold on until the underground race arrives, we still have hope. Xianhou looked at the sky. The underground race? Yes, but we don't know if the current underground race is strong enough. Otherwise, it would just be a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. There weren't many people who knew about the underground race. The underground race didn't want too many people to know about their existence. They had always been mysterious. The puppet warships were moving very fast. The dazzling blue flame at their tail gave them a strong driving force. Inside each puppet warship, there were dozens of demons. They were either controlling the direction and driving force of the warship, or controlling the puppet cannons at the front and sides of the warship. They had a clear division of labor. You still have a chance to surrender now. We, the demons, actually don't want to kill wantonly. We are even willing to govern Elysium together with you. However, if you are stubborn, then don't blame us, the demons, for not giving you a chance. One of the 6-star devils said. Pooey! Chu Zhongtian spat on the ground. You want us to surrender? What a joke. If we govern together, I'm afraid we will become your puppets. My master has already sacrificed himself. I, Chu Zhongtian, am not a coward who is afraid of death. If you want to take over Elysium, you have to step over my dead body. Otherwise, don't even think about it. In Elysium, there are only kings who die in battle. There are no kings who surrender. I would like to see how tough your puppet warships are. Can they withstand my hammer? You want us to surrender? Dream on. If you want to fight, let's fight. Why are you talking so much nonsense? The death of more than 300 kings didn't make the remaining people timid. Now they were in a killing frenzy. The only thing on their minds was how to survive and kill more enemies. You refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Kill them all. The Lord of Fear was more inclined to kill this group of people. Kill all those who dared to resist in Elysium. Only by killing all those who resisted could they take over Elysium more smoothly. Xiao 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 xiao. The demon kings and the puppet warships advanced rapidly. The cannons of the puppet warships were already flickering with different colors. That was a sign that the cannons were about to be fired. Don't give the puppet warships the chance to accumulate energy. Charge. Now, the people of Elysium had been forced to the edge of a cliff. If they took a step back, they would be in the abyss. If they took a step forward, they would be facing countless enemies. They might as well fight to the death. None of them fled. None of them retreated. All of them executed their movement techniques and pounced forward from all angles. Some of them faced the puppet warships above, while some faced the demon kings. All of them were emitting a tragic aura as though they were facing death calmly. Their eyes were filled with madness and terrifying calmness. Kill! The Lord of Fear was the first to charge at the Void Ancestor. The Lord of Fear had never killed a living person. The other party was no exception. Boom boom boom. The battle began once again. The moment it started, it entered a white-hot stage. It was several times more tragic than before. After a few breaths, more than 100 puppet warships had accumulated energy. Beams of different colors shot out, interweaving into a web of death. The Elysium demon kings that were hit by these beams of light died instantly. Although most of them didn't die, they were sent flying or had half their bodies shattered. They were then easily killed by the demon kings that rushed over. The situation was one-sided. Break! Duguju gripped his saber with both hands and swung it down heavily. A pale white saber light sliced through the sky. 3 puppet warships were cleaved into 2. Another 2 puppet warships were sent flying by the aftershocks of the saber light. Their surfaces were flickering. Essence of the realm, reincarnation. Mysterious Queen's eyes were cold. Her hands rapidly formed seals, and many mirrors were born in the void. These mirrors absorbed any energy that was reflected on them, and then shot out beams of colorful light towards the puppet battleships in the sky. For a moment, there were puppet battleships exploding from time to time, like huge fireworks blooming. Moreover, as long as these mirrors existed, they would continue to absorb energy and attack. Every attack was equivalent to the full force of a titled monarch. The results were glorious. In a short period of time, 20 puppet warships were destroyed. However, on the side of Elysium, dozens of demon kings had died. Following that, the demon kings that attacked the puppet warships were surrounded by 3 demon kings. They didn't have the time to attack the puppet warships. In the sky above the ocean-gazing domain, boundless waves appeared out of nowhere. A huge light formation appeared. Kill! One figure after another flew down from the light formation and joined the battlefield. Because they had come so suddenly, the demon army was slaughtered. The attacks of these people were different from normal humans. Their attacks were abnormally fleeting. They didn't seem to make any movements, but their attacks landed on the demon soldiers. Some of the stronger ones even created terrifying storms. These storms wreaked havoc, and wherever they went, the demon soldiers were torn to pieces. "They're here." Serenity's eyes lit up. Her face was full of joy. "It's the underground race?" Li Xiaoyan was also very excited. Just like Yi Chen, he had entered the underground world before. Serenity was the saintess of a sacred race in the underground world. The people of the underground world didn't cultivate true yuan. Instead, they mainly cultivated will. Will was formless and intangible, but it had a huge destructive power. Moreover, it showed no signs of attacking. The reinforcements are here. Everyone continued to kill. Although they didn't know the origin of these people, they only killed the demons and not them. It was obvious that they were the mysterious reinforcements of Elysium. For a moment, everyone's morale was high. Tens of thousands of underground humans had thrown themselves into the battlefield, causing a huge impact. These underground humans could use their thoughts to create a very large defensive barrier, and everyone was very safe inside. Normally, as long as dozens of underground humans joined hands, they would be able to make the defensive barrier last for a very long time, and the people inside the defensive barrier were not restricted by the defensive barrier, so they could fiercely attack the demon clan outside. As such, the devil race army was naturally killed in an incomparably sullen manner. On the light formation, there were more than 100 people left. The white-haired old man waved his hand, and the light formation broke through the space and swept towards the battlefield of the demon kings. Lan Sanmei had tried her best to kill, but there were too many enemies. She had just slashed a demon king's body when she was attacked several times. If she hadn't reacted in time and avoided being hit in the vital parts, she would have died. But now, she had nowhere to hide. A total of 5 demon kings were attacking her together. Buzz. At this moment, an invisible barrier suddenly appeared in front of Lan Sen. The horrifying attack landed on it, stirring up a large amount of ripples. The next moment, the invisible barrier shattered, but it also gave Lan Sanmei enough time to dodge. Raising her head, Lan Sanmei saw many unfamiliar people. These people didn't have any true yuan aura on them, but they were all extremely fast, as if they were moving with their will. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.